At the T-minus 3-minute mark, tape recorders on board the spacecraft were turned on. These recorders record both voice and data. We have ignition sequence start. The engine's now building up to 7.7 million pounds of thrust. We have a launch commit and we have a liftoff. Moving back. The Saturn V lifting off with power.
And we are back on Rocket Shop.
Here with Sarah King. Hello.
Hey.
Can you introduce yourself and kind of tell me a bit about your music?
Yeah, I mean, you just did. I'm Sarah King. So, yeah, I play blues rock with a side of Southern soul, and usually acoustic, because usually it's just me.
Awesome. Can you start me off with a song to show me what you sound like?
Sure. Girl, you better lay off that liquor before you kill someone. Don't you know that I felt sicker from all that I left undone? Baby, I tried to tell you this wasn't the best idea, but you don't listen. Your bad luck keeps drawing near, and now you're telling me the tale once more again. But I don't wear wedding rings, and you're saying it like you've been here before, but I ain't said a goddamn thing. Well, you shine like a badge of honor, giving you credibility, but you're still trying to lay it on her, knowing everything you did to me, yeah. And now you're telling me the tale once more again, but I don't wear wedding rings, and you're saying it like you've been here before, but I ain't said a goddamn thing. Baby, if you only knew all the things I did to you behind your back, or you would be so sad. But it's all in the past. I left you too fast, and you finally realized everything you had in me. Oh, in me. And now you tell me the tale once more again, that I don't wear wedding rings, and you're saying it like you've been here before, but I ain't said a goddamn thing. No, I ain't said a goddamn thing. No, I ain't said a goddamn thing.
Beautiful. beautiful. What was the name of that song?
That was Wedding Rings, or as my bandmates liked to call it, the Wedding Ring Situation, if you listen carefully.
Yeah, it's a little. So, do you write all your own songs, or do you play some covers as well?
Depends on the show. For shorter sets, definitely it's all my own stuff. But for a lot of the longer shows, I do put some covers in there. So.
Awesome. And how long have you kind of been a musician? Like, when did it all kind of start for you?
Really, in college is when I started. I've been singing forever, but as far as like playing my own instruments and stuff, like in high school, I'd always have to find like a guy to play guitar for me, and I got really tired of that, and so I taught myself how to play guitar. And then in college is when I bought my first guitar on my 18th birthday. I like saved up all my money, and so in college is when I started performing and really writing my own songs and kind of getting out there. So.
And I know you're kind of new to Vermont. I was
Yes.
reading on your website.
Oh, yes.
Can you kind of tell me about where you kind of started with music, where you've traveled a lot, and like kind of what brought you here?
Yeah, I have kind of lived everywhere on the East Coast, like Maine down to Georgia, which means I should probably hike the Appalachian Trail at some point, just because I've lived everywhere. I lived just outside New York City for a long time, for about 10 years on and off, both for college and then for work. And then relationships are what brought me to the South, and then also to the Philly area. And some worked out, some didn't. But I always, kind of traveled. And I knew that I didn't want to live in like suburban areas forever, but it took a long time to get there. Like growing up in Maine, I was determined that like I needed bigger, better, bright city lights. I grew up on a small farm and stuff, and so being right outside New York City when I was 18 was like, yes, this is totally what I need. And then when I was 28, I was like, I am exhausted. Like I need to go back to where where the trees are taller than the buildings, and so that was a big reason that I came back to New England.
Yeah. And I know that, so you've been all over. You have a lot of influences. You can hear the Southern influences in there, but also like those bluesy. I really love your sound. Do you have any particular like sound that you would call your own? Because I know I wrote your description. I was like, bluesy country rock. What would you kind of define
That's kind
it
of like,
as?
I honestly, that's one of my biggest probably hurdles right now is I have no idea where my music fits. Like I think it's like bluesy soul, but it's like every time I do a blues thing, it's not blues enough for the blues people. Every time I do a country thing, it is totally not country enough for them. Like the singer-songwriter things, like I'm a little too like guns and whiskey for them. So I really don't know where I fit. So that's kind of why I'm like blues rock with a side of Southern soul. Like it sounds cool.
It sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And, no, I love your sound. I think it is definitely unique. You can't really say it's one definite thing. And
Yeah.
I think that's really what's great about being a solo act, that you can kind of decide what you want to be more of once in a while.
Yeah, definitely. And there are times like I just saw the Ken Burns country music documentary, and so you asked about cover songs, and like half of my set is now songs that I learned about from that documentary. So it's all these old country songs, but of course, being me, I had to like make them sound like really sad and like depressing. But yeah, just a big blend of like different stuff. So.
Yeah. And you usually play alone, or do you have
I
bands?
do now, yeah. I just released an album that I did record with a full band, and I love it. I'm super proud of what we accomplished, but they're in Georgia, so kind of hard to get them, and like Georgia the state, not Georgia, Vermont, so kind of hard to get them up here for gigs. I don't think I can pay them enough to like come up here twice a week, so so usually around here I play by myself. I sometimes play with a cajon player. A lot of my stuff, as you already heard, like has a lot of rhythmic stops, and so having a cajon player, percussion player helps out. I've actually started playing percussion. I usually have a little foot drum and a shaker and a tambourine and stuff that I'm often playing while I'm playing guitar, just to kind of round it out, because like I get bored of myself by singing by myself. So yeah, but for the most part by myself. So like if anyone's really looking for like a bluesy rock band, like let me know. I absolutely can. Let's see, what should we play? We'll play a sad, pretty song. How's that? Okay. All right. You suffer more from good intentions than you'll ever mama. Oh, mama, I cannot follow. You know it's hard to swallow. Oh, mama. She knew me with flesh memories, though it's been years since I've been here. Taking her hand in mine, singing her to sleep. Her peaceful face felt no fear. Oh, mama, you're slipping away slowly, going somewhere holy. Oh, mama. Oh, mama, where I cannot follow. You know it's hard to swallow. Oh, mama. She knew me with flesh memories, though it's been years since I've been here. I only think of her when I'm sober, remembering that I must go on. Oh, mama, you're slipping away slowly, going somewhere holy. Oh, mama. Oh, mama, I cannot follow. You know it's hard to swallow. Oh, mama. Oh, mama, you're slipping away slowly, going somewhere holy. Oh, mama.
Wow, that was really beautiful.
Thank you.
What was that called?
Oh, mama.
Oh, Mama. I loved that song. That was really beautiful.
Thank you.
So you wrote that yourself. What does kind of your songwriting process look like? Because you're like stunning lyricist. I must say, like I'm like
Thank
wow.
you. When I was really, really young, I used to say that if anybody ever told me that I was stunning, that I would ask them to marry me on the spot. So, what are you doing later?
Yeah.
My songwriting process is everything usually happens all at once, and it usually happens in the shower. So I keep a running list of lyrics on my phone, and just things that like stand out to me. Oftentimes it's my own personal life, but sometimes I'll overhear a conversation or I'll read something. Like I'm right now reading an autobiography, like semi-autobiography of Scott Fitzgerald, and there's all this amazing like poetic language in there, and like I'm writing stuff down left and right. And so I get ideas that will eventually have to do with a topic of a feeling and something, but the melody and the rhythm usually hit me in the shower. And so I'll usually have like shampoo in my hair, and I'll have to like get out of the shower and like run over to my piano, and I write everything on the piano to make sure that I have the melody where I want it. And I'll just like bang everything out real quick in like 10 minutes, and then finish my shower, and then I sit down with the guitar and put it all together. But the words and music usually happen at the same time for me. But I don't write very often because of that. Like I wait for it to spontaneously happen. Like I'm always looking through my lyrics and stuff, but I would say I probably average 2 to 6 songs a year. I write very slowly. I scrap a lot of stuff in the meantime too. Like I'll start writing stuff and then be like, forget that. But about 2 to 6 complete songs per year is what I come up with. So I was
Slowly
like
but surely.
Yeah, slowly but surely. It was like 7 years from my last album to this one. So, yeah.
And how many albums have you recorded? I know you have your one with the band.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
just talked about, but have you anything like on your own or?
Well, embarrassingly, yes, and thankfully nobody can find it. The one that I did 7 years ago, I was like utterly determined that I was going to play all the instruments and I was going to do it all by myself, and I didn't need to play a click track and all this, and my oh my. So I'm really glad that I released it. And like, it was pretty, but I'm glad nobody can find it anymore. And then a year and a half before that, the band that I just recorded with, we actually put an album out when I was living in Georgia. And that one's pretty cool, although the rhythm section is very different. So, it's still me and the lead guitar player, like the fire is still there, but the rhythm is like, on this album is like leaps and bounds better on the new record.
And do you have anything coming up soon on your own up here, or are you still kind of?
I do, yeah. I play usually at least once or twice a week up here. So I live in Ripton, which is down in the Middlebury area, so I don't do a lot up here, but I am at Switchback Brewing next Friday the 21st, and more exciting, or perhaps like more exciting for music-goers, I'm at the Radio Bean for the first time on March 11th, which is a Wednesday, just like now, and same time slot, 8:30 to 9:30. So I'm really excited about that because I haven't played there before. So
It's an awesome venue. I'm gonna come see you
Cool,
there. Like,
yes.
I'm totally coming. So since you've been in Vermont and kind of, I guess it could be like your whole music career, what is your favorite venue to play at?
my favorite venue to play at. Oh man, since I've been in Vermont, my favorite venue, I will say that like most of the places that I play up here are not specifically like music venues. So, as far as like places to play, like I love it when people are like paying attention to me while they're sipping their cider or whatever where we're at. I did get to play at Higher Ground in the Showcase Lounge once, and that was
That's
really
awesome.
rad. It was a super cool spot, and I would love to go back there again. But yeah, I mean, I honestly don't know if I have a favorite.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Like, I don't think I've played enough places multiple times to be like, yeah, like, I love this crowd, I love this area. In general, yeah, it's usually, like, the bigger stages, like, even when I was playing with my band and stuff before that I like more. I do love playing live with a band, and, like, I just feel like a rock star, and there's different light colors, and, like, my own sound person, like, I'm not there adjusting my amp sounds and stuff, so that kind of, thinking back to, like, rock halls that I've played at is, like, yeah pretty
That's
rad.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I know you're a single solo woman in the music industry. How have you kind of been handling that? I know I was reading online you were touring on your own in 2017, like living in a tent.
Yeah, I lived in a
That's
tent.
so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. Yeah, most of the time, like being a female musician and being on my own is totally fine, but there are totally times when, I mean, even today when I was like sitting here before we got started, I got some random Instagram message that was like, "Hey, sunshine," and I'm like, "Who are you? Like, why? What?" Like, I've gotten really fired up like over the last like year or so, probably because like I work part-time at a college, and so I'm just so fired up about like women have autonomy. Like we are not little men, and we don't need man's control, and like we can do this on our own. And so, like I don't usually like feel like nervous or scared like going places by myself, but like I am small, I am female, and so I think sometimes I have like a bigger chip on my shoulder than I need to, just because I feel like, I mean, if you've watched the debates, right, they're like, we have to be twice the man the men are to be taking it seriously, and I feel that way sometimes, and I know it's kind of worked against me sometimes because it almost seems like I have like I'm not happy to be there because I'm like, I'm gonna play this really loud song and it's angry. so I'm trying to find that sweet spot of like embracing my femininity. Like it is totally fine to like be a woman. Like that is great and not feeling that it's like a handicap in the music industry.
Yeah.
So.
That's honestly like I think it's super cool that you're up here on your own because like I love music and I've been in a couple of bands and I always have like a whole gaggle of boys sitting in front
always
of
boys.
me.
It is always
and like
boys. Yeah.
and like my boyfriend playing acoustic guitar with me, like it's never just me, and I think it's so
Right.
awesome that you're sitting up here because like honestly a lot of young women feel like it's still a men's game in a
It
lot of
totally
ways,
is.
and it's really
Yeah.
hard to like even book shows on your own and like kind of be your own manager because like it's hard.
Be your own manager,
Yeah,
not
and you have to call
manager.
people. Yeah,
right?
like
I mean, yeah, but it's totally true. Like, yeah, women I feel like are taken less seriously. Like, so I worked for D'Addario, like the guitar string company, and I was an account rep. And there was one day where somebody called and he was like, "Hey, can I talk to someone who knows about guitars?" And I'm like, yeah, like that's me. And I was the only female rep at the time, and it was like this whole to-do where I'm like, I'm literally like, this is my job. I am sitting here with a guitar in my hand, like, why won't you take me seriously? It was so frustrating, and like, So I am on fire
Yes,
lately
no,
about women. Like I teach music lessons, guitar and piano too, and I primarily teach women, especially like young girls, because I'm like, you do not need a man to do this. Like
I've been so discouraged learning guitar from like various men with big hands. And they're like,
Yes!
your hands are too small and your nails are too long. And I'm
Right?
like,
Yeah.
okay.
Do you see how small this guitar is? Like I have this
Yes.
built for me because I'm like, I'm little. I want something little. And so yeah.
That it's a beautiful guitar. What brand is that
gorgeous?
guitar?
So
Tell me
it-
about your guitar.
I love this guitar. It is a Yielding, which was made by a friend of mine in Alabama from when I was living in Georgia. And it is redwood on the top, which gives it that like really like warm sound, even though like it's a young guitar, but it's really, it's got that, I don't know, that bassy feeling, but it's little. And then the back is this gorgeous black walnut, which also kind of rounds it out and just really gives it that fullness. Like I wanted something that sounded old without having to pay the old price tag. Because every time people are like, you had it built for you, how much did that cost? I'm like, I got the buddy deal.
Yes.
And I had it modeled after the Gibson L1, the Robert Johnson style blues guitar, because I wanted something that was like back 100 years ago in the 1920s, everybody had little guitars because they could like sit on a couch and play guitar and take it with them everywhere. And like before I had this, I was literally playing like the J200 Jumbo, like those massive ones that, I loved the sound, but I was like, I just can't, like I'm up here like trying to play like this. I'm like, this is just not working. So I reached out to my friend who builds, and he knows how I sing, he knows how I play, and he was like, I got you. Like
Amazing.
Yeah, and I
That's
was so pumped
cool.
because I wanted something that that supported my voice well too. You know, I feel like a lot of the like the spruce top new guitars are just like super bright, and my voice is like, So I'm super excited about this guitar.
Awesome. Can you use it to play me another song?
I totally can.
Yay.
Let's see. How many songs do we have time for left? Because I want to make sure
What
I
time
don't
is it?
like.
How many more do you have?
I have like tons. So 2 more songs?
Yeah, 2
Okay,
more.
cool. All right. Let's see what I will play. I will play you that one that I played to warm up. That gets kind of loud, but I dig it. So funny story about this one. So I like singing like murder ballads, and once I was in a car with an acquaintance who didn't know me very well, and I was like, yeah, I sing murder ballads, and he's like, when can I get you out of the car? I'm like, do you not know what these
I'm
are?
alone
Like,
with you.
do I need to explain this to you? So here we go. So here's one of my my favorites. So. Long night in the city, and they still can't find you. Been searching for days. Your cold heart isn't true. There is a land where you held me in snare like a moth to a well-dressed flame. Sweet is the heat each and every time we meet, but now I won't play a game. I'm standing in the shadows. I see the fear in your eyes. You're alone and empty-handed. So much for your disguise. There is the land where you held me in snare like a moth to a well-dressed flame. Sweet as the heat each and every time we meet, but now I won't play a game. Well, I may be naive, but Lord knows I'm not blind. Time measured by heartbeats. Now that I know you're not mine, there is the land where you held me in snare like a moth to a well-dressed flame. Sweet is the heat each and every time we meet, but now I won't play your game. cold heart wasn't true.
Awesome.
Thanks.
And do you want to play your next one now, or do you want to talk and then do it? How much time do we have?
Yeah, whatever works for you guys.
You wanna
We
go-
can talk and then do it.
Yeah,
Sure, why not?
awesome. So
Yeah.
can you just tell me kind of about your musical influences and what kind of brings you to this type of music?
Absolutely. So my influences, I don't think are easy to hear in my music, so I am so pumped to answer this question. My favorite singer is a guy called Greg Dully from the Afghan Wigs and the Twilight Singers, and like nobody knows like his music and stuff. He actually is just coming out with a new album, but he's been around for a while, and he's really not a great singer, but man, if you don't believe every single thing he says, and you believe that like he's been through the fire and like made it back, and like I discovered his music during a really dark time, and it has been with me for the last like 20 years. And so he is probably like my main songwriting influence, because he allowed me to see like I can go to the dark side, but I don't have to stay there. Like I can sing about it, and it's okay. It's okay to explore that. When I was a lot younger, before I was really making my own music, I listened to Sarah McLachlan like crazy, and she's probably my biggest vocal influence. Her vocal control is like out of this world, and she's also a fantastic guitar player, but I didn't play guitar when I was really into her. And then as far as like more modern influences, I really love Jack White's storytelling, and just the way that like he's raw and gets into it too, and I'm like, oh man, like I hear you. So I would say those are probably like the biggest influences, but I don't think you can hear them at all. So, yeah.
You're making it yourself. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
So kind of along that question, with your genre of music genres,
Yes.
how do you think that's perceived in Vermont? Because I go to a lot of live music, and it's a lot of indie bands who are
Yeah.
singing way up here with like their female vocalists who are
Yeah.
super airy and light, and you're like so very much not that. And I love that. Like you have a
Thank
real
you.
like super powerful voice, and that's so cool. But
Yeah.
how do you think that's perceived?
I'm really not sure. And like you really hit the nail on the head, is like, yeah, how is it perceived? And it is very different. And I have this discussion with people all the time. Like I have a really big voice. I feel, like I'm Reba McEntire, right? Like
Yes,
you're
it's
singing,
awesome.
Like, oh yeah. And like, but I feel like, Reba was like awesome in the 90s, and like she's not, topping the charts now. And like, is that okay? Like, I really don't know. Like there are some people who are like totally into it, but I honestly am not sure how it's perceived. I don't know if it's hip to have a big voice now, but
I think it is.
I
think it's awesome.
Yeah, like I've come to a point where I'm making the music that I want to make, and not worrying about like whether is it marketable right now, is it in right now, because even if nobody listens to it, like I want to listen to it. And like this new record, I mean, I was listening to it while I was driving up here, because
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
this is a great driving record. And I try to be authentic and like sing and play like what feels authentic and real to me, even if like the subject matter may not be what I would actually do in real life, but like I'll sing about it and get it out that way.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if somebody wants to tell me how it's perceived, that'd be great, because I really like I struggle to find my place in today's music landscape. So.
And I think also you're coming from the South and coming up here, and like
Yeah.
how have you kind of handled that switch? Because it definitely is a big transition.
It is a big transition.
Like-
It is. And coming from like a much bigger city in the South too, I was in like the third largest city in Georgia, and so it was very different, because even there, which is so wild, I mean, it was a decent sized city, but like I'd go to Walmart to get like medicine when I had the flu, and I'd be like, ragged, and there'd be people who are like, you're the girl in that band, and I'm like, please don't talk to me right now. and that still happens up here, because Vermont is way smaller.
tiny,
like,
yeah.
There's as many people in the whole state. It's like, yeah. So that would have probably been culture shock, except that I grew up in Maine, and so coming back to New England was like, I was like, okay, like I get it, when like the New England chill is totally real.
totally.
Like, yeah, like in the South, like I would be out walking my dog, and people would be like, hey, how are you? And I'm like, who are you talking to? And now like I can walk my dog and nobody will look at me.
Yeah, no.
Thank you.
But yeah, definitely. I think like I don't know. I was thinking about it. Like the South is something that's super like ambiguous to me. I'm like from Vermont. I'm a definite Vermonter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think this type of music definitely has a place in Vermont.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool that you're kind of bringing a lot of different influences here because
Cool.
the Burlington music scene definitely loves diversity. So we're
Okay,
really
good.
happy to have you.
'cause
Yes.
Like I said, like these 2 shows like coming up are like my first in the Burlington area. So
No, totally. It's awesome. And I think I'm going to have you play your last one, but can
Sweet.
you kind of give us a shout out for any upcoming shows, anything else you want to plug like social media wise?
Yes, yeah, social. Everything is Sarah King Sings, and it's Sarah with an H, not at the beginning, so SARAH King Sings. .com is my website. Sarah King Sings is Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, with some awesome new live videos up there that I'm super excited about. And those pretty much, like, I primarily use Instagram. And then, yeah, the show next week at Switchback on the 21st, and then March 11th at Radio Bean are probably the next 2 shows. So, yeah, come see me at a show and follow me on social media and tell me what you like about my music or don't like. Yeah. All right, so this is the Madman's Doll. And that's doll like a doll, not a dog that goes woof woof. People are always like, the Madman's dog? No, puppet doll. As I'm walking down the same old street, visions before me, are they real or just the summer heat? And I was lost in Austin, but I left those days behind. Soon as I realized he wasn't really mine, oh, said, baby, baby, please don't, baby, baby, please don't, baby, please don't drag me down. Oh, baby, don't drag me down. Oh. Now in me you stay, all that you admire, turning me instead into something you desire. I'm still a madman's doll, no desires of my own. So why do you keep coming round when you know I'm best left alone? Oh, said, baby, baby, please don't, baby, baby, please don't, baby, please don't drag me down. Oh, said, baby, baby, please don't, baby, baby, please don't, baby, please don't drag me down. No, baby, don't drag me down. No.
that was The Madman's Doll by Sarah King. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Tonight. Yeah, I had a great time talking with you. Go find her on all of her social medias, guys. Like, she's awesome. This has been Rocket Shop on 105.9 FM, The Radiator, WOMMLP, Burlington. I have been your host, Genevieve Rossi. Tune in next week to listen to our guests, Bad to Be Good and Brass Balagan. Thank you.